I was exploring this planet Kodos when I saw this mountain out in the distance, and I thought, I wonder, can I go there? Then I came across this cave, so I figured I'd stop in there first. It was very dark. Wasn't really much in there. There's these crystals that form this bridge up to this little cavity. Would have been really cool if there was something in there, but there wasn't anything in there. So I continued on my way towards the mountain. Little friendly critters. I kept thinking the view from up there is going to be fantastic. I came across this frozen body of water that when the sun hit it in just the right angle, it made it look golden. Anyways, I proceeded on towards the radio dish out in the distance, doing a little skip jump across towards it. I stopped in this little construction area when I noticed this weird windmill out in the distance, and then a ship landed out in the other distance. As I got closer to the satellite dish, I found a woman dead on the ground. Her note was a sad one. As the ship in the distance took off, I found I couldn't open the chest either. That's when I saw that the scaffolding up towards the satellite relay was destroyed. I thought maybe my skip jump pack would get me up there, but it didn't appear so. Maybe if I had a different jetpack on, I would have had enough height. But I thought one more try. And maybe, I made it. With the mountain still in the distance, I decided to check out what's inside this little study area. But there wasn't really anything in there for me. I decided to head towards this weird windmill. That's a cool looking windmill. Wind turbine? I like the colors. But there wouldn't be a wind turbine out here in the middle of nowhere for no reason. There were some buildings nearby, so I headed over to see, and sure enough, it was a civilian outpost. They definitely had a nice view.
Did you bring in something nice from a big city?
I had to disappoint this homesteader as I entered the airlock.
My partner thinks spacers will want to rob this place. Ah!
I was reminded that I am great, as you are great, as we are all great. There wasn't really anything else inside of there, so I made my way back towards the mountain. That's when my game froze for a second and gave me a minor heart attack. Found where the ship landing site it was that we saw the ship from earlier, so I figured I'd check that out after seeing what this natural formation was. Hearing some weird purring sound, thought maybe it was some kind of alarm, but then I saw gunfire in the distance. Couldn't tell if these were enemies or friendlies or not. They were too far away. And then I see that poacher name come up. I still can't tell if they're these guys or they're people out in the distance. And as I got closer, it turned out that those were friendlies and that was a bad guy. So I finished him off and took all the credit for the day.
Couldn't have done good work. You helped us protect the Sealies. Our mission would be doomed without it.
The view over here was pretty nice, but still not the view that I was hoping for. Took a second to pose for a quick thumbnail and continued on my way. Headed towards the ship landing site, expecting to see a ship there, but there weren't any ships there, so I was disappointed. Then there was one more cave, which would be our last stop on the way towards the mountain. Inside there were these wonderful luminous crystals. I couldn't interact with them or mine them or anything, but they were definitely something to look at. Anyways, I got some resources from a dung pile and was on my way. From this angle, the mountain made me think of some other mountain from another Bethesda game. Something that had many, many steps to get up towards the top of, where there were some elders at the top that would shout at you, something like that. Things were getting a little precarious. At any point, I was liable to slip and fall all the way back to the bottom of the mountain. I got a little scared here. That's when I found out that these little patches where snow had fallen and rested on were pretty safe, so it was just a matter of jumping up to those and taking a second to recharge. But then I ran out of them. View is nice, but still wasn't the view that I was hoping to get. So I continued onwards. I was getting a little greedy with the jumps. Didn't think I would make it, but I did. But then I screwed up and lost a lot of ground. So we moved over where it looked like the grade of the incline would be more forgiving. Basked in the nice view on our way to the best view. But that isn't resting snow. But fortunately, I clambered onto something that wasn't there, and then I was able to jump up to this one. That's where I decided to save it, which probably should have done a long time ago. But from here it seems like pretty smooth sailing. The incline didn't seem too steep, and plenty of more evened out areas. And then I reached it, the summit of the mountain. And what a view it was. You can see the edge of the rendered area there. And there's our ship. All the way down there, 2,000 meters away. We made it just in time for the sunrise, sunset, sunrise. The sun never really goes down on this planet. And that's when I noticed there were these weird fungus-like mushroom trees out in the distance. So getting one final look over the landscape and the hard-earned view. There's one thing left to do. Now it's to jump off. Jump off but not die, because I didn't save it at the top. As I got closer, I noticed there were more Sealies next to them. It looked like one was sleeping, and the other was just kind of bewildered by these trees, just like I was. Kept my distance because those things are pretty intimidating. There was some water here that I could walk through. It wasn't totally frozen. These appear to be giant cactus-like trees with spikes that wouldn't hurt you as you get close. Then all of a sudden my screen shook violently, and the music stopped. I was really confused. Did I do something with the tree that caused that to happen? Did I actually get hurt and get some kind of infection that the game didn't tell me about? In any case, the music resumed, so I decided to get on top of these trees to see what was up. Then I heard some weird sounds. Was that the trees making the sounds? No, it was the Sealies fighting a Terramorph. I decided to help weaken the Terramorph a bit, and then I'd let nature take its course and watch from a distance. Unfortunately, they just kind of stood there, looking at each other, and didn't really do much. So I decided to jump in there and assist out. Plus, I got some experience. And with that, the only thing left to do, besides loot these corpses, was to head back to the ship.